Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda Rose and I am so excited that you all have decided to join me today. If you are new, hi, please do not forget to like and subscribe. And if you are returning, again, thank you so much that you have decided to watch not just this video, but all of my other videos. I just want to say thank you to everyone who has supported me. And it is currently winter break here, I guess on the entire East Coast. I don't even know how that works, but definitely in New York, it is winter break. And so I was really excited to get some videos out for you all now that I have some time without feeling stressed about filming. So what I decided to film for you today are my top 5 most used classroom activities. Now, this does not mean that I do not use any other activities in class. These are just my go-tos. In the past videos, you have heard me talk about creating a routine or structure, and so because these are my most commonly used activities and the ones that I think are really successful, I know that they're gonna work and my students already know what to expect when I do roll out these activities, so they are a part of the routine even if they're not incorporated into every single lesson. So for some of you, you may be like, I know this already, nothing new, womp womp womp. But hopefully I provide a different perspective to using these activities. It's possible that they may be some that you had used previously and then you forgot about them, because we're always encouraged to try new things. So again, before I get way too into it and before this intro is a million minutes too long, let's talk about my 5 favorite or top 5 most used classroom activities. The first one, quick writes. I have always heard of teachers talk about giving students a break or an opportunity to write in class, but I didn't really understand how. But quick writes are exactly that. They're quick moments randomly put into the lesson where you give students an opportunity to either reflect on what was just learned or have them just think about a rigorous question, and it allows them to process what they want to say by writing it down, and then they're much more willing to verbally say it out loud. So I'm not sure if any of you have heard of this book, Teach Like a Champion. This is, I believe, the older version because I think the newer one is like double the size. But I received this about 2 years ago from my school and I personally love the book. I think that the strategies that are in here are so easy to use. They explain them very well, and if you get the one with the CD, they give you examples visually of how to implement that in the classroom, and for me, I think that was the easiest part. So I usually just, I'm not sure if you could see, I highlight like the ones that I like to use the most. But under this quick write section, the one that I use the most often is technique, in this book, Technique 26, Everybody Writes. Now what I like to do is after my 10-minute instruction, I like to pose a question on the board. When I put the question on the board, I like to put like a little photo. That was my dog sneeze. I like to put a little photo of maybe like a pen or a pencil on there, and that's like the signal that they know they have to write the answer in their notebook. And I put a timer on the board for 2 minutes. I want you to respond to this question. I like to walk around and read what they are writing. If I can see that a student who usually does not participate but has put down a really great answer, I'll usually whisper to them like, hey, I want you to share this, all right? I'm gonna call on you. And the reason why I love doing that is because sometimes kids don't like feeling like caught in the moment, and not every student likes to participate, as you may notice, but it doesn't mean that they don't have the correct answer or a valid contribution to the classroom. So when I walk around, I like to pick 2 or 3 students who usually won't participate on their own, and I like to give them the verbal affirmation. Hey, this is a great answer, I'm gonna call on you, so that they know when they do share, it is adding to the classroom environment. They won't be as nervous or as scared if they don't think that their answer is correct, because you've already given them the confirmation that it is. And so I like to do this about 2 times every lesson. So quick writes, I kind of talked a little bit longer than I wanted to about it, but I cannot stress it enough. 2 minutes, 1 to 2 times during the period, and I think that it is so helpful. The second one, pair shares. Now, I use this strategy more with my younger students, my 10th graders, than I do with my seniors, even though I have done it with the seniors. But I think that the younger students, they're more into it. So Pair share. The way that I do it is I usually have students link up with a partner. So I'll give them like 30 seconds, everyone raise your hand, and you have to find someone randomly. They just cannot be anyone who was sitting next to you. You put the timer on the board. Once they find that person, they have to like hold hands so that I can visually see who is linked up with who. Usually if there's like a student left over in the past, or if I've had a co-teacher, myself or the co-teacher will link up with that extra student, but if not, you just put them into a group that already, or a pair, so that there could be 3. Because the goal is you want to be able to walk around for the second part of this. So once the students are linked up, you tell them to pick, hey, one of you are going to be A and one of you are going to be B. And they decide, and then you'll say, okay, so here's an example. A. In 90 seconds, it is your responsibility to explain to B how the stock market works. Use as many vocabulary words that you remember, but talk about the process from start to finish. Go. And then you put a timer on the board, and for 90 seconds, A is responsible for teaching B about the stock market. And you as the educator, you can walk around and listen to the things that the kids are saying. And it is so fun to see them under pressure and really wanting to show off their knowledge. I've also seen B at one point be like, nope, there's more information, keep going. And so even them encouraging each other to think back and try to remember the information, like it really makes your heart skip a beat. So once the 90 seconds are done, A did a great job. Then B's responsibility is to fill in any missing pieces that A forgot. And if A did a perfect job, then it is B's responsibility to repeat what A said. So B never gets off the hook. And then again, for the 90 seconds, you go around and you have the students talk about it and you listen. They break, everyone sits back down, and then you could have them, all the groups, share out loud. Hey, what are some things that you guys discussed when you were talking about the stock market? How does it work? Boom, 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 boom. They do that, they do that, they do that. And then the way that I would end an activity like that is actually with my next strategy, which is an exit ticket. My third strategy, which are exit tickets, I would actually combine together. So after all the students have finished discussing, then I'd put an exit ticket, and that exit ticket would be in 3 to 5 sentences, describe how the stock market works, and you must use the words shares/stocks, investors, public companies, whatever the case may be. I'm thinking of this like on the top of my brain. So that's usually how I would go from a pair share activity to then having an exit ticket. So number 3 are exit tickets. I love them. I was never a fan of exit tickets before. Again, I felt like this was an activity/strategy that I would hear teachers talk about all the time, and I was like, oh my God, exit ticket, exit ticket. If somebody talks about an exit ticket one more time, I'm going to lose my mind. Until I actually found the value in an exit ticket. The main reason why I love giving exit tickets now is because usually when you give worksheets or when you give an essay or when you give an assignment, it's really hard to grade all of those things the same day, especially if you have over 80 to 90 students in a day. To go through all of that in one day and then hand it back is a really difficult thing to do. But with an exit ticket, you can make a very quick assessment in that day, and so you know how to revamp your lesson. Maybe you need to do a quick review before you continue on to the second part of what you wanted to teach. But I think exit tickets are a very easy way to get a quick assessment of how every single person is doing in the classroom, because again, not every student participates, and not every single one is as vocal of sharing their knowledge, but it doesn't mean that they don't know. And then from there, you can organize them into 3 different piles, which is the way that I like to do it. The students that got the information, the students that somewhat got the information, so maybe there were a few inaccuracies, and the students who did not get it at all, where you read it and you're like, man, they completely missed the mark. Now you use those 3 different things, and you could either decide how you want to group students for the following day, or you can just decide as a whole group, reteach this part of the lesson really quick. So I love exit tickets for a very quick assessment of the current climate and learning environment that you are creating in the classroom. Number 4, current events worksheets. I love current events worksheets. I have been using this maybe for the past 5 years of my career. And the reason why I love them is because I really like students being able to mess with newspapers on their own, or nowadays going online and finding a news article and then being able to fill out a current events worksheet. Now, the worksheet that I like to use has a variety of different things that the students have to look for. What is the title, the date, main idea of this article, summarize the article, provide 4 pieces of evidence that add to the main idea, 1 question that you have about this topic, is it related to gender equality, politics, economics, so they also have to identify what the topic of it is. And I like this activity because it just allows students to become familiar with one, what's happening in our world today, and also to getting the information from a different source. It's totally different from giving a PowerPoint or from having them watch a video, but now this is just another way that they are receiving information and trying to figure out how to filter through the info. So I do have a current events worksheet that I love using that I created. It's actually on Teachers Pay Teachers. I'll leave it linked below if you want to use it as like a guide, or even if you just want to purchase it because you like it. By no means am I like saying like go get this, but for anyone who is a little confused or would like some direction as to what exactly I like to ask the students when they are answering this current events worksheet, you could definitely check that out linked below. I am a huge advocate for political cartoons. I know for some they steer away from that. Again, my subject area is social studies. I get asked that a lot. So I love using political cartoons, sourcing them, analyzing them. What do you see? What was the message of this? What's one question that you have about this political cartoon? Who are some of the characters or people that you can identify? Is this cartoon a reliable source for determining the climate of A, B, C, and D? And I just love using visuals. I've also noticed that with students who have a really difficult time reading and writing, usually the analysis of the cartoons is a lot easier for them, or they're a little bit more comfortable analyzing political cartoons. And then you also have students who can't stand analyzing the cartoon. But I love just breaking it down. Step 1, what do we see? Let's circle everything that we see in this photo that we think is meaningful. And then from there, it's like, okay, what do we think the message is? Or what do we think is happening? What are they trying to say? What is the author's message? And just breaking it down step by step. So I usually like, and so I really, those are like my top 5 activities. I'm sorry if some of you are like, I thought I was gonna learn something new, like this is all stuff I already do. Then great, then these are all things that hopefully you have also found helpful. Like for example, the exit ticket, that would probably be the biggest thing that I would encourage. That and the quick writes every single day, because you can get really easy assessments of how the students are doing versus spending 2 to 3 hours grading one activity. This is a very easy way to just see how every single person did for that lesson. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. I hope that you did like the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the future, coming out with more videos now that I have this week off. Again, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you all in the next video.